Hey, how's it going, people? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the injury that I had that I talked about in the previous video that made me depressed. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh, my thumb. I got an injury on my thumb right now. Yeah, anyways, let's continue. So, the injury that made me fucking depressed. So, I'll give the backstory. So, January 2024. Yes, that year. It was not a good year for me. It began with an injury, so that tells you something right there. That it was not a good year. Honestly, I got injured. I was training muscle ups. I was trying to train for a muscle up, but I wasn't ready for the skill. So yeah, I just forced every attempt. I did like a chicken wing one, which was pathetic. And one day, I did pull ups, and then the next day I did pull ups again, and I started feeling this sharp pain in the inside of my elbow right here, especially right here. Yeah, I just kept training like an idiot and did not rest. I could have just rested and it would have went, it would have went away. It would have went away fast. But no, stupid me decided to fucking continue training muscle ups and pull ups and without rest and full on max attempts, which is stupid. You should never do that. And yeah, it just got worse and worse and worse. And it got to a point where I couldn't do a pull up anymore without pain. I would just grab the bar. I'm like, it hurt, it hurt, it hurt like crazy. So I stopped doing pull ups for like 2 months. That's a lie. It's only 1 month. I only stopped for a month. I only did like low intensity rows, right? Just rows with like rings or, the rings. I have rings, so I use rings. And I just made it easy. I could do like 20 reps, right? That's what I did for pulling for a month. I didn't do any pull ups, I didn't do anything. I lost all strength in pull ups when I got back. I couldn't do a single one. So I started training eccentrics, right? That workout I trained eccentrics. The next workout I was able to do a pull up already. It just my body just got adapted easily. It just I don't know. And I started training pull ups again, right? Injury wasn't that bad, but as soon as I started training pull ups again and reintroducing them, I started feeling more pain and more pain and more pain. But it wasn't as bad as when I was grabbing the bar before and I would be in pain. But this time I was able to train pull ups, right? So I kept training pull ups, but the problem was this injury was just lingering. It lingered forever, and that's the worst thing. I was like 3 months in with, no, 2 months in with the injury, and it's still, it was still going. So I started, researching, Googling online, what the fuck is this type of injury? It turns out it was golfer's elbow or medial epicondylitis, which is a like an inflammation injury or something, a tendon injury basically. I basically overused the tendon too much. It's an overuse injury basically, and it makes sense because I was overtraining like crazy. So yeah, man. Honestly, I watched a bunch of tutorials, YouTube videos on like rehab exercises. I followed them to the T, and that got me nowhere. I was doing daily rehab, all that shit, and it got me nowhere, bro. It was this. It just I plateaued basically. I didn't make any. I didn't make any progress. I kind of had got a brain fart right there. So basically, yeah, I found myself stuck, and this is where the depression started to hit. I'm like, man, I can't train like how I used to. Because I miss it. I miss training because it was therapeutic for me. So only exercises I was able to do were just push ups and dips and stuff. So I started doing daily rehab, right, for like a couple of weeks. Further into the weeks, I noticed the symptoms getting worse because I started noticing them in like push ups. I started noticing them in dips, and that really fucked me up, bro. Bro, it made me so sad and depressed, bro. That was during the summer. It started going towards the summer. I started feeling depressed, and I told you yesterday, the whole thing. You know, and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, maybe let's not do, rehab every single day with low intensity. For some reason, for me, it doesn't work. So let's try every 3 days doing some supination, pronation, and all that stuff with like dumbbells. So I tried it, and I made a bit of progress, which made me happy. And I noticed though that the pain was not going away. For some reason, it just wasn't going away. My wrists were getting stronger. Like they were actually getting stronger, but my elbows weren't. They weren't good. They were still in the same pain. So I plateaued again, but it was a little better. It was more manageable. I was able to do more pull-ups. Yeah. So then I started looking at eccentric training. I just read online, you know that it helps lengthen the tissue and stuff. I forgot to explain this. Basically, I'm bad at talking, as you know. But no, regardless, the injury that I had, usually on Google it says that you get inflammation here. I didn't get any type of inflammation. It was just like pain. So yeah, basically my tendon was like like degenerated or something along those lines. It was not healing basically. It was just getting worse and worse. So I found that eccentric training says it helps. So I tried it. I gave it a try. I started doing bicep curls instead of doing this and all of that. Bicep curls was just simple. It was a simple exercise. I just need to do this and lower it slowly. I started off with 25 pounds and I worked my way up to like 45 pounds around there. And by the end of it, my elbows were completely better, way better. I started noticing that I was able to do pull-ups with like no pain at all. But after I started noticing some pain, but that's normal, I guess, according to Google. Um, and yeah, from there I just started transitioning into regular bicep curls. Right now I'm at close to 30 pounds. So, and I'm doing that for like 10 reps for like 3 sets. The whole exercises, I was just doing 3 sets of 10 or something around those lines for the supination, pronation. I'm still doing them because my wrists are fucked up and I need to, get them stronger. It's crazy how if you stop training something, you just lose it quickly. In case that's my experience, I lose it pretty crazy. Like the strength, especially strength. It just, I don't know. So yeah, honestly, if you have any type of injury, it's hard to deal with, especially a tendon issue or something around those lines. The only key of advice I could give you is have patience and experiment a lot. You got to find what works for you. What works for other people won't work for you sometimes. So it's just, you got to experiment. And for me, I found that just doing bicep curls was just very intuitive. I literally Googled, is bicep curl bad for golfer's elbow? And there, yes, it's bad. You should not do it. Instead, you should be doing pronation, all that bullshit. But you got to find what works for you. For me, this worked. I'm back to doing normal pull-ups with, weight, actually. I've been training with weights, too. Um, and yeah, basically back. I still have the injury. It's still, there. It's not as noticeable now, but it's still there. It's still there. I just need to manage it and control it. But other than that, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I don't know, just thanks for watching. That's basically it. Peace.